In a year we will never forget, a year in which the world hit pause for a while, the important work at Emory Brain Health Center and at Goizueta Alzheimer's Disease Research Center moved forward. There have been many exciting developments since our last family affair.
All right, now that we're all here,
we launched the Cognitive Empowerment Program, a first-of-its-kind living laboratory that will teach researchers more about dementing disorders in the earliest stages.
This is a whole new area where there's not enough research yet, an understanding of the brain science. How do things that might affect cognitive resilience or resilience to Alzheimer's disease, how do they work?
Program for people with mild cognitive impairment and their care partners meet twice a week. There are structured activities like brain training on the computer, plus group activities focused on lifestyle choices and strategies to make life at home and out in the world happier and less stressful.
What does that look like for you guys?
Participants even partner with researchers from Emory and Georgia Tech, testing out and giving feedback on new technologies that can improve their lives. All the while, regular assessments of participants from researchers will show what interventions slow progression of the disease. The beauty of following people week to week instead of year to year, creating community at a difficult point in life for these couples.
I just want him to have more fun and to be more confident and not so dependent.
You ready to start? Where was the one that was different? There you go.
This is the inaugural class, at the forefront of a movement that will lead to answers and treatment.
I get so full and so excited to say I'm part of a trailblazing team that's going to be the benchmark for something that's going to happen all over the world.
The research is moving forward in our healthy aging and healthy brain studies. Over 1,200 people are now in our healthy brain study, which does in-depth annual exams of participants with the goal of answering two critical questions.
Who's going to develop disease and when are they going to develop disease? If we want to catch the very initial phases of that, we have to catch people in their 50s and 60s.
Once you take a deep breath in.
Since dementing disorders begin decades before symptoms, this is a powerful way to get answers, and that is why volunteering for research allows us to partner in getting those answers.
When they come out with new information on a study, don't you wonder about the people who did that study? Don't you wonder about who lined up and said, okay, it's all right with me if you do this to find out, so that down the road you can find out that, X drug actually works for this thing, or we found that if you eat this way and exercise that you can put off. I mean, how else do they get that information if not for people to say, okay, I'll do it. I'll do it.
And then there are the sorts of volunteers who surprise you.
My name is Sister Josephine Kallus, and I am 93 years old.
95.
What? 95, that's right, thank you.
Sister Josephine Kallus is among 1,500 nuns and priests across the country who have been research participants in the religious order study at Rush University in Chicago. Emory is a collaborator in the landmark 25-year-long study. Nuns and priests undergo annual exams, and when they die, they donate their brains.
And how do you feel about that?
I'm dead, what do I care? Yeah, you could have my brain.
Rush's Dr. David Bennett and Emory's Dr. Alan Levy took us on a tour of the freezer farm where the brains of the nuns and priests are stored for research.
This little thing right here is critical for the way we encode memories.
All of the data gathered from these nuns and priests have led to some fascinating insight into what prevents dementia.
I have never met a retired nun. If they retire from job 1, they're doing job 2, and if they retire from job 2, they're doing job 3, and they are working and active and busy until they can't.
Stay active, stay connected in deep relationships, eat well.
Ba, si, ba.
Learn a second language and take music lessons. Avoid negative relationships. Explore new places. Have a purpose in life. Answers like this come from teams of researchers working together on a global level.
The amount of information that can be collected now in days is what we used to collect over a decade, 10, 20 years ago.
Emory does the proteomics in the study, measuring all the proteins in the brain. It's an important part of the research sequence that creates a deeper understanding of dementia.
I don't know whether I didn't want to deal with it.
Neurologist Dr. John Dougherty diagnosed thousands of patients with dementia,
Ladies and gentlemen,
including diagnosing iconic University of Tennessee women's basketball coach Pat Summitt. He is now Dr. Levy's patient, being treated for Lewy body dementia, the second most common form of dementia that impacts 1.5 million Americans. When we traveled to Knoxville to spend time with the Doughertys, LeAnne Dougherty was honest about the caregiving burden.
I'm not doing as good a job as I need to because other things often come first, but I think in every support group I'm in, that's the message. Are you taking care of yourself? And we think we are, but to be honest, my default position is if John's taken care of, then I take care of myself. So I don't quite have the right balance yet, but I'm working on it.
I watched my father take care of my mother.
Ken Hepburn, an Emory professor in the School of Nursing and the educational lead for Emory Goizueta's Alzheimer's Disease Research Center, is a legend in the field of caregiving. His Savvy Caregiver program, designed to promote caregiving mastery in those caring for people with dementing illness, has been taught to tens of thousands of people. Hepburn is now helping to establish the Edward R. Roybal Center for Translational Research in the Behavioral and Social Sciences. The focus will be on dementia caregiving.
Caregiving is a clinical activity. It's really nursing.
As with the Doughertys and the couples in the Cognitive Empowerment Program, and for millions of families across America, caregiving is complex.
The source of stress is the day-to-day life. This is a person whose capacity to navigate the world is being eroded.
He encourages caregivers to ask for help and jump on it when anyone offers. And he shared with us his mantra.
Don't just do something, stand there. That is, confronted with a situation, rather than trying to immediately jump in and make it right, try and figure out what's going on first.